For more on this, let's bring in NewsNation senior national security contributor and retired Air Force Lieutenant General Richard Newton. General Newton previously served as the Assistant Vice Chief of Staff of the U.S. Air Force and is a former Deputy Director of Global Operations for the Joint Chiefs of Staff. General, always good to see you. I wanted to start, if we could, with some of that polling that Tom just included in his report. The latest NewsNation Decision Desk HQ poll found that 77% of Americans are either very or somewhat concerned that Israel's war on Hamas will lead to a terrorist attack right here on American soil. So my question for you this morning, how does that compare to Americans' anxieties about terrorism that we saw in the wake of the September 11th attacks?
Well, good morning, Markie. Director Wray's testimony, I think it was significant. I think it's a wake-up call for Americans, especially based on the Hamas attack on Israel back on October 7th, but also now that we literally have Israel and Hamas in conflict. And I hearken back to the days when I served, as you mentioned, overseeing the Global Operations Directorate and the Joint Chiefs. It reminds me of a much heightened tension, and as well as the increased vigilance. And that's exactly what Director Wray was talking about. But there's a lot of almost eerily simulations here. It's not for panic, though, but it's just for increased vigilance. And as Director Wray said, if you see something, say something. It's a very simple tagline, but it's very effective for our viewers and American citizens. If something just doesn't seem right, now it's a call for an action to contact a local law enforcement or state or federal and so forth. But we are in heightened tensions, so things abroad affect how we view various threats to the United States, but also for Americans who are abroad as well. So again, I think it's appropriate for him to obviously testify to that point, but also to perhaps provide somewhat of a wake-up call. Now we're in a new era.
Yeah, and appropriate for him to heed those warnings. Unfortunately, we're living in a time again where we have to keep our head on a swivel and be vigilant, to your point. Now, what scenario should concern us the most, or do you find to be more likely? Is it Hamas and Hezbollah terrorists actually entering the country to attack us, or is it people already in the United States becoming radicalized by terrorist propaganda?
Well, Director Wray talked about it. I think it's more of a general warning. And certainly the FBI is very effective in terms of their counterterrorism directorate and so forth. But it's more of a general warning, not one that's specific, at least from our viewer standpoint. But let me talk this just a second. Now, what is different, certainly after my days, just after 9/11 and serving in Washington, D.C. at that time, we're much more integrated with our intelligence community, with our, law enforcement from the local to the state to the federal, absolutely with the lead of the FBI and so forth and their counterterrorism efforts. But also we're very much synchronized and integrated with our allies abroad. So we've come such a long way in terms of that integration. But nonetheless, threats keep coming at us. And so that's where we have to, again, remain vigilant, but much more informed. And that's why Director Wray, I think, was making a general statement to the American population, not to panic, but to, again, be more vigilant. And the fact that, we're going to be in this new era, if I may, since October 7th, not for the next several weeks, but certainly for the several months, because events like Hamas attacking Israel and the conflict, it inspires both homegrown but also external threats as well. And that's where we just need to really raise our radar, if you will, in terms of what those threats where they are, but also what they could do.
Yeah, we certainly don't want to scare people or frighten people, but as we know, there are entire communities of people who are living in fear right now. He brought up a lot of interesting points yesterday in that testimony. Director Wray also saying he hadn't seen this kind of radicalization since the dawn of ISIS. Why do you think this war is such a lightning rod for extremists right now?
Well, first, we saw at the top of the block, some video there of a reported strike from Israel against the Palestinian people, but really they're going after Hamas, but they're going to be perhaps some ensuing casualties and so forth. That really, again, that touches the Palestinian people. So now you're really putting two groups of people, the Palestinians in this case, and the Jewish people of Israel and around the world, the Jewish state, appear to be obviously in a conflict. And so what that does is it creates, beyond the existing tension, Markie, but it really heightens that tension. And then you've got this information operations campaign or messaging campaign that certainly the terrorists and those backing Hamas, but also in the Arab world, it really does create some havoc in terms of, and that's where we saw in Jordan, you've got these protests in the street and so forth. And so that's just going to be, that's one of the byproducts of this conflict that we're just going to have to deal with. But that impact, Markie, here's the point. The impact is it's not necessarily just in the region, but it expands around the world and certainly potentially to the United States. Again, let's underscore this.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.